Welcome, everybody, and we are fired up for another sensational college football matchup. Nobody at home today who can stake their claim in this neutral site showdown. We've got a top 25 showdown in this one, both teams with an opportunity to get a statement victory. As we'll see, the number 15 team in the country, the Alabama Crimson Tide, taking on the second-ranked team in the land, the Georgia Bulldogs. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. And guys, can't wait to get this one started. Alabama about to kick off to get things started. And he'll just... This drive will start at the 25. First down here for the offense. Quarterback checking the play. They'll crank up this drive with the pass. Got it in the middle. It's dealt. That one could really put this drive into high gear as they have a first down at the 37. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Trying to find his man on first down. Looking left. He's got it. He's run out of bounds, but a big play on that one, and it'll be a first down. So it's not just a strong running game. The Dogs can be dangerous with those weapons up top.
And I think when you've seen Georgia really dominate in college football over the last several years, it's because they've been more aggressive, more willing to throw the football early downs, trust their quarterback, not just the ground game.
Georgia coming out with a fresh set of downs. Back to pass, it's Beck. Got his man in the middle. He gets it all the way down to the 5-yard line. A terrific catch and run before he stopped. And the Dogs trying to cash it in on first and goal. They'll try to get it in with the run. They get him on the ground at the 3-yard line, but this defense is taking some punches. Offense trying to pay it off on second and goal. Looking for a path to the end zone to the right. Going right back to the well, and this time he finds water. Gets it into the end zone for the touchdown. Lining up to tack one more onto that lead. And the PAT makes it 7-0. So that scoring drive took only 6 plays and closed the deal with a 3-yard touchdown run. Kickoff team is on the field. They'll try to drive this one deep. He'll bring it out. It's Williams. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. They'll run this play from the pistol. Use the play fake, now to throw. Buys a little time with his feet. And that incomplete pass caused by the big hit on first down, second down coming.
Yeah, and you use these running backs so much in the passing game now. You expect him to make those plays for you, to make those big explosive plays out of the backfield. Just got to make sure he concentrates and see that ball come in.
Now it's 2nd and 10 from the 15. Back to throw, it's Milroe. Extending the play. It's incomplete. Good job by the defense sticking with its coverage.
Yeah, and how about the linebacker? You know, you ask him to do so much on the football field to cover so much ground. You don't always ask him to go man-to-man, but when you do, the linebacker comes through, swats the ball to the ground.
Now on 3rd and 10, if they can move the chains here, maybe they can get this drive started. From the gun, wants to pass. Unloads to the wideout. He's missed 3 in a row now with that last incompletion. 3 straight misfires has left them staring at 4th and 10, but they'll try it again. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. He'll get rid of it. Complete in the middle. Coming out, attacking from deep in their own end, and they're out at the 26 with the first down.
And they're showing you their intentions early in the game. It's 4th down, you're in your own end. We're going to be aggressive, and we're not just going to do this early. We're going to do this all game long. Awesome execution on a critical end.
I like it. Just frustrate the defense. Get that 5 to 6 yards. Make them honor the run. Make them know that you're willing to run the football and run it effectively.
Nice defensive play to get a hand in there and knock it away. Alabama pushing the tempo. Defense showing blitz. Will they bail out of it? Back to throw, it's Milroe. On the run, fires downfield. All kinds of room to throw that one in there. Good, solid pickup on that one. They've got it out to the 40, and it's first down.
You know, one of the areas that separate good offensive coordinator. Is how efficient their offenses are on 3rd down passing plays. That was the perfect call at the perfect time and obviously executed well.
Alabama rolling quickly downfield, set up with another first down. He's going to pass. throws to the wideout. Oh, he drops the football. He had it right down the gut of the field. Instead, it'll be second down.
Well, it was a good throw. It was a good route, but it was the hit that forced that incompletion.
They put this ball on lockdown. 8th play of the drive coming up. He'll just keep slinging it. On target to the left. Afterburners coming. Touchdown, Alabama! And once he got loose, it was all over.
Man, how hard is it to defend when you have a weapon like this at running back that can play wide receiver? You can design ways to get the football in his hand. Palmer, once you get it in his hands, he'll do the rest.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, and oftentimes those are easier throws for quarterbacks. And these running backs, they're just naturally so good when they have the football out in space. Their vision, their creativity, their ability to make people miss. And this guy showed you right there, a difficult guy to stop now if you're this defense moving forward.
Get another look at this Bulldog offense. Now they need to put something together to answer that last score.
There's a lot of pressure, too, on this offense to have to execute at a high level. They've got to score points, David, but they can't go too fast because their defense right now is tired.
And I think that's the difficulty being a play caller. Like, I have to balance all of those things. My defense is a little bit tired. I can't put it on the field, but I got to be aggressive because this is a back-and-forth type game, so a lot to process and think about.
And it looks as if they've buzzed down. Replay wants to have another peek at that last play. And the play will stand after the replay booth just does a little double checking to make sure. The offense will put it in play from the 47 on 1st and 10. Looking to move it through the air. Pulls it in. It's Lovett. Showing off those sweet feet as he gets it to the 45.
And I love when my quarterback sees zone and knows exactly where to go with the football. Sees the wide receiver running the drag route, knows when to throw it, pulls the trigger for the easy completion.
Dropping back, it's Beck. He uncorks a laser deep down the middle. And they'll finally bring him down after he rips off a huge play.
From a defense, I got to find a way to get some more pressure on the quarterback or disrupt their timing and their rhythm. I can't give them these big chunk plays through the air. I got to be maybe a little bit more aggressive or do something a little bit different.
Quarterback checking off. They're in the red zone and they'll pass it. And the physical play there forces the incompletion on 1st down. This should be the last play of the quarter. Right back to the air on 2nd and 10. Fires into the end zone. Give him 6. Touchdown, Georgia. They'll try to tack one more on their score. And the extra point is true, and they're on top by 7.
That makes the score Georgia 14, Alabama 7.
They're lining up to boot it away.
Set to kick this one.
Fielded in the end zone. It's Williams. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out of the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. Here comes that Alabama offense. David, they'd love to do what they did last time and put this one in the end zone.
You ain't lying. They did a great job. The offense was clicking. Everything went well. Palmer, they executed and got the ball.
And he'll be knocked down at the 2-yard line. Alabama quickly back to the line.
And That guy is just a man. I mean, he sets the tone in this defense, and you saw it on that play right there. Reminds me a lot of the guy standing beside me, David Pollack, who really set the bar for great D-line play at Georgia. I think back to two guys I played against, Richard Seymour and Marcus Stroud, lining up beside each other on the inside of that D-line. That was
The heat got to him, and he just sort of froze and got tackled in the end zone for a safety.
Oh, and how about this defense? Understanding where they are in the field. They got a chance to put points on the board, and they do.
After giving up that safety, they'll have to boot it away and give it right back to them. And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. After standing on the sideline and watching that long touchdown drive, they really need to put something together to give their defense a rest.
And that's a real thing, man. Like, you played a lot of plays, you get worn out. You need a chance to go decompress on the sideline, get some oxygen. Palmer, now it's on this offense.
Yeah, this is the definition of complementary football because it's a two-pronged problem. You've got to score points and answer, but you've also got to take your time and give your defense an opportunity to get their win.
And that ball is hauled in inside the 35. And the tackle is made, but not before that completion gets him 30-plus. Receivers telling the quarterback what they see. Back to pass, it's back. Firing to the end zone. Just a bit of a misfire there as they can't make the connection.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. He didn't look open as it is, and the QB's trying to make a play, trying to force the ball, but at least he threw it where his guy could catch it or nobody could catch it.
This one's complete. He's there to make the stop, but not before he sets up this offense. First and goal from the 7. The aerial assault continues. Fires into the end zone. And he's on his way. He'll go all the way. Touchdown, Bulldogs. And with the extra point, they push the lead out a little further. A very efficient 5-play scoring drive. And they close the deal with the 7-yarder for the score. He'll bring it out. It's Williams. Not nearly as much as he'd hoped when he brought it out in the end zone. He'll be stopped at the 15. The Tide offense rolls onto the field. And the last time they had the ball, they wound up giving up a safety, Jesse.
Yeah, that was ungood the last time they had the ball. So they got to do something here offensively.
Off he goes. A huge gain on that one before he ran out of bounds, and he has the first down. New set of downs after that completion. To the air on first down. Fires to the wideout. Just flying through the air like a superhero to make the grab. Alabama pushing the tempo.
Really nice play getting that first down. And listen, I know when a lot of people think about the Crimson Tide recently, they think about the success they've had at the quarterback position. A big reason why, though, those guys have been playing so well, they're throwing to NFL talent all over the field. And this dude right here, he could be the next first-round pick at the wide receiver position for them.
We've reached the 2-minute warning, and this thing has been one-sided, and they hope to at least have something to feel good about going into halftime. Second down coming up. Looking to throw, it's Milroe. Unloads to the wideout. Makes the grab. And he was thinking 6, but that D knocks him down at the 2. They'll rush to the line. Clock stopped for the first down. They'll set the chains and wind the clock. The defense calls the timeout. They're second of the day as they try to get their act together. And this is a really important series of plays, a chance to cut into the lead just before halftime. That one never had a chance. Incomplete. And the D denied him on second and goal. They'll try to slam it in. He's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 3.
And that's a great stop by this defense. Second down and goal, getting a lost yardage play, now putting your defense in a better position for third down.
That brings us to 3rd and goal from the 6 after they went backwards on the last one. And the quick shuffle pass.
Well, on 3rd and short and field goal range, they dial up the pass play. Quarterback was trying to get through his progressions. There was just simply nobody open. Couldn't make an accurate enough throw. The ball falls incomplete. Now setting up a big decision here on 4th down.
It's 4th down, and this offense is going to stay on the field and keep the kicker on the sidelines. Was to pass. They're trying to get to it. And he'll race it to the house. Touchdown tie. He'll try to tack on one more. And the PAT will draw them 1 point closer. So a drive there of 85 yards. And he got into the house from the 6 to finish it. The ball squirts through the end zone. That'll be a touchback. They'll bring it out to the 25. We're ready to get another look at this Bulldog offense. The way this game started, you feel as if you have to score a touchdown every time you have it, and now we'll see if they can respond.
Yeah, and I wonder how much pressure that puts on the offense. Jesse, this is back and forth. I got to score, and every possession matters so much. What does that do to you as a quarterback?
Well, it puts a lot more pressure on you for sure to feel like I got to make every 3rd down throw. If guys are open vertically down the field, I got to hit them too. We can't let our serve get broken.
Catch in the middle, it's dealt. They make the stop, but not before they do their work up top and pick up a 1st down. Wideouts all wadded up in a bunch. Looking to go up top on 1st down. Grab near the marker. It's Lovett. They make the stop, but this passing game does some damage, and they move the sticks with the 1st down. The Bulldogs come to the line with a fresh set of downs. Now from inside the red zone. Getting some heat. Hit hard just as he released it on 1st down and just couldn't get it to the receiver.
Yeah, and it fell incomplete because he did a great job of getting to the quarterback. He's in the pocket, yeah, he's comfortable, but you get in there and you get a hit on him. Now he feels it, can't throw the football, can't follow through with his arm motion. Nice job by the defense.
Lets it fly. And makes the grab in the end zone. Touchdown, Dogs! Quick timeout call by the offense after the play. Play the analytics here and you go for 2. Linebackers trying to create some confusion. He's going to be stopped short of the goal line. The 2-point attempt is no good as they are unable to extend the lead. So they got the touchdown, and as they kick off, really important for the defense to shut them down here. He'll bring it out. It's Williams. I imagine he's going to get an earful on the sideline after bringing it out of the end zone and being knocked down at the 11. Here comes that Alabama offense. Now you find out just how much of a gunslinger you are. Will you roll the dice here late in the half, Dave?
And you know the defense is going to be really, really conservative, so I think it's an opportunity to be able to take a shot, see how much of a chunk you can get before then you decide really, Jesse, how you want to finish the half.
You just can't turn it over and throw it.
And the quarterback goes down all the way back at his 4-yard line. There's a timeout called as this offense tries to find a way to draw a little closer. They've already racked up big sack numbers. It's starting to snowball, and they are ready to go again. Looking for a man. It's Milroe. Throws to the tight end. Complete downfield. And it is a chunk play. A huge gain on that one before the defense brings it to an end. Just a few seconds remaining here as they try to put something up before halftime. They're bringing heat. Got him downfield. Hit the gas, kid. Wide open ahead. defense to take it in. Touchdown, Bama!
Man, what a great way to end the first half. It wasn't a perfect first half. A lot of mistakes, still trailing by a lot. But here's the deal. Now you put yourself in a position, go make some things happen. Force some turnovers, play good in the second half. Who knows what will happen?
And that'll bring us to the end of the first half as we head to the studio for halftime. Georgia will kick it deep to start the second half. Coming out with it, it's Williams. I know he thinks he can house every return, but sometimes you just have to take a knee as he stopped at the 14. The Tide offense rolls onto the field. They start this third quarter one-possession game and hoping to get an early drive going.
This offense is ready, and they're ready to take the field here and see if they can get something established. They don't have to change everything and reinvent the wheel. They've had some successes in the first half, so let's get that continued here on the opening drive.
Yeah, and I love getting that break at half to go talk with my coaches and pick my offensive coordinator's brain so I know exactly what I need to do to attack this defense, and I get ball first.
With the catch, it's Law. And they'll finally get him down after a terrific pickup. It's probably pretty comforting for this offensive coordinator to know as soon as the game's kicked off, I can pretty much pencil in a 100-yard receiving day for this dude.
And I want to be the quarterback. I mean, that guy, it's always open, man, zone. I know I'm looking his way because he's going to catch the football. He's going to make big plays for me. So, yeah, I'm not surprised they can continue to highlight this guy in the passing.
To the air, it's Milroe. Got a wide-open receiver. He's loose. He's at the 10. Almost took it all the way, but a huge gain, and he has him set up first and goal. They want to just keep throwing it. And he's going to take it into the end zone. Touchdown, Crimson Tide. They got the touchdown, but now they want the two to tie this baby up. He's looking to throw. To the end zone, and it's picked off.
The two-point attempt is no good. That keeps
Lining up to cover the kick after that touchdown drive.
Alabama, 27.
The ball bounces through the end zone, and it will be a touchback. And Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. That last drive, an absolute aerial assault for the touchdown, Jesse.
And it was a nice job in play calling too, David, just giving the quarterback some easy looks and reads so he could go out and execute.
And he knew exactly where to go with the football. Everything looked really, really easy. He was hot. The ball was coming out of his hands. The defense better do something different.
Looking to pass. It's Beck. Throws to the wideout. Can hang on, and he'll tell you he really should have made that catch, and he had an opportunity right in the middle. It'll be second down. Couldn't make the connection last time. Let's see if they throw it again. Wants to fire on second down. A shot toward the end zone. And that ball is picked off. He'll try to take it back. And they capitalize not only on the pick, but on the great return to improve this field position.
Well, the defense came into this one knowing they needed to create takeaways and try to gain as much momentum as they could. Really nice interception on that play. Great job with the eyes by the defender there picking that up.
Quarterback moving. He's looking on the right side. And he's got it at the 20. A huge play there as he has it inside the 20 at the 19.
I love when you back the defense off of you. If you want to get aggressive, I'll take shots down the field, make the defense play more conservative, and now what? Now you're in the red zone with a chance to get some points.
Noses his way forward, maybe gets one. They'll mark it at the 18. Didn't get much on first down. It's 2nd and 9. Moving the running back, trying to get the D to tip its hand. Quarterback wants to throw on 2nd down. Fires into traffic. It's picked off. Looking for more room. And they capitalize not only on the pick, but the great return to give the offense tremendous field position. Looking for a productive play on 1st down. Dropping back, it's Beck. Pressure coming. Able to get just a few before sliding to avoid the hits.
Nice job by the QB, sitting back in the pocket. You can tell he wants to throw the football, go through his progressions. Nothing home, take off, and slide. I love the slide at the end. Don't take a big shot.
Showing the arm strength to the left.
Well, the defense hasn't been able to stop this guy all game long, so the offense is going to keep trying to take shots. They thought they had the matchup they wanted, but they're going to force this defense to prove they can stop him, and the defense finally came up with a play.
Looking to the big tight end. Wide open downfield. And he found all kinds of room and got it down to the 28.
Well, how about the offense setting that play up? We've seen earlier in the game a couple shorter throws. They're just trying to suck those safeties closer to the line of scrimmage, anticipating that they would get an opportunity to take a shot. They called the perfect play at the perfect time right there.
Got his man quickly. And the catch was one thing, and the run even better. A big pickup on that one. This Georgia offense moving quickly down the field. Quarterback making adjustments with his receivers. They'll throw it on 1st down. Steps away to find some room. And he gets there. And they get him down at the 14-yard line. As they get set to snap it, time winding down here in the quarter. On 2nd down, looking again to throw. Pulls it in the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia. Like a Thanksgiving turkey. They're just being caught. No shot. They have no idea how to get in this quarterback's head.
He's on fire. Everything he's doing is working defensively. We got to figure something out. We got to try to do something a little bit different. Bring more pressure. At this rate, shoot, he's on so much fire, you might as well just send everything. Blitz everybody, live with the results, because everything else ain't working anyways.
There to make the stop, and we played 3 in this one.
Georgia 35, Alabama 27.
They're just about ready to kick it away. And that is not the optimal solution there. The kickoff out of bounds, and the offense will have a little bit easier time of things. 1st down to start the drive after the break. He'll start this drive firing. Quickly out to the tight end. Good pick up there. They'll move the chains, and they're set up at the 41. Alabama quickly back to the line.
Well, no question. They've got to score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion here, but that's a good start to this 2-minute drive. You always want to get it going. You want to get that momentum going, put the defense on their heel.
Looking for the end zone. And he's got it. Touchdown, Alabama!
And it's now the 2nd time this wide receiver has scored. Another outstanding job with the route. Great job securing the catch.
Now they'll try to tie it up with the 2 late. Wants to throw. It's Milroe. And he just flat dropped it. I think he wanted to run before he secured it.
That is the score. Georgia.
Almost ready to kick it away after scoring the touchdown. That one bounds through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. We're ready to get another look at this Bulldog offense. How about that last drive? Just carved him up in the air, David.
Yeah, and how about that quarterback? You gave him the ball, and he delivered the goods. Great job taking apart the defense, Jesse, on that last drive.
He really did.
They get enough rush, and it pays off. The sack at the 20. Didn't help themselves much on first down. Let's see what they've got on second down from the 20. He's looking to throw. And that's going to fall to the ground incomplete. That was a physical matchup there. Third down coming. I'm not positive, but that first down marker might be in the next county. Moving the running back, forcing the defense to adjust. On third and long, he'll have to turn it loose deep. Got it in the middle, it's Etienne. And boy, is he close to that first down, maybe just a couple of inches short.
Yeah, and that's one of those where you just look at the coverage. You look at down the field, taking away all the options, making sure you don't throw that ball downfield to get the first down. The only option, check it to the running back. Now I close that space. Nice job tackling.
On fourth down, they'll pass for it. Finds his man enough for the first. Oh, he gave him the limp leg. He's loose on the right. And he takes it all the way. They couldn't stop him. Touchdown, Bulldogs!
And the defense lets the big tight end get behind him, and you could see it. When he saw his tight end streaking down the field, he knew he had to throw it up in the air, let him go make a play. He does it. Big play for this offense.
Fielded in the end zone, and he loses the ball deep in his own end. Kicking team's got it.
And this kickoff coverage team, they just get to the ball carrier. They are flying around. They're beating their blocks. And the ability to create a turnover on a special teams play like this, and that is massive. And now it sets them up in great field position.
Quarterback reacting to what the D is showing. And I don't think they got it snapped before the play clock ran out. There's a difference between being methodical and thorough and slow. They were slow, and they got the flag. The Dogs have it in scoring position on first and goal. Looking for the score. Reels it in the end zone. Touchdown, Dogs!
Have a day, young fella. I foresee some social media posts in his future. Not one, not two, but 3 receiving touchdowns on the day. What a ball game.
He gets into the end zone for the 2, and that is big. It's now a 3-possession game. About to kick it away after scoring a touchdown. He'll bring it out. It's Williams. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. First down here for the offense. He wants to throw. Hit hard as he released the ball on that first down pass, and it never had a chance. Alabama pushing the tempo.
And the quarterback gets hit again. We already know this defense has gotten home to him multiple times in this game. So here you are, you're trailing in the game. Defense knows you're going to throw it. They're pinning their ears back. You can't feel very confident right now if you're the play caller, certainly if you're the quarterback, that you're going to have time to throw.
Looking to throw, it's Milroe. Quickly complete. At the 45, on his way. Boy, did he look as if he was going to go. Gets it down to the 37. Alabama with a 1st and 10 here. Here's this offense with a fresh set of downs. Comes out throwing on first down. Steps away. And he was drilled just as he released the pass. It's incomplete. After the quarterback and receiver failed to hook up, they'll try it again on second down. He's looking to throw. Fires to the middle. He makes the catch. And he's brought down after a nice gain. Clock is still running, and they have to get everybody lined up. They're threatening to score, and they'll throw it. And he was hit just as he was releasing the pass, and it falls to the ground incomplete. Moving quickly, trying to rattle the D. On second down, he'll try to make the connection this time. And swatted down by the defense to stop the scoring opportunity. They were on the move, but two straight incompletions had them staring at 3rd and 10. Back to the air one more time. Ball into the end zone, and it's intercepted.
This is a beautiful situation for the defense. When you're up by 2+ scores and you're in this situation, you know exactly what is coming. It's going to be a pass. They have to because the clock is their enemy. Great job playing pass, forcing the interception, almost putting the nail in the coffin.
Just a short pass to the tight end. Spins away. They make the stop, but there is a flag on the field. We'll see what that's all about. So they'll decline the penalty, pleased with the results of that last play. The offense set for a first down play. Wasting no time throwing on this drive. Fires to the big fella. He knew exactly where he wanted to go with that one, and they've got enough for the first down. A new set of downs after the completion. Now the quarterback changing the original play call. Quickly to the tight end. And he'll get behind those pads and deliver the blow and get it down to the 44. Second and short now after that completion. Looking downfield, it's Beck. Fires to the middle. And that pass picked off. Got some room to run. Hey, that's a live ball. And the defense has got it, and they're bringing it back. At the 30. He's at the 10. And he's going to score on the interception. Touchdown time.
And this defense has had a rough day, but how about this play? Breaking on the football, making the pick, taking it to the house, maybe build some momentum for some future games.
Getting set for the point after. And it's up and good as they draw just a touch closer. They're definitely up against it. Time running out. Down 2 possessions. They'll try the onside kick. Georgia ready to go back to work on offense. And now when you have a solid lead like this, Jesse, you find out, can you deliver the knockout punch?
And we're expecting them to come out here and just run the football, bleed the clock, let the big uglies up front, get some push and ball security, David. That's premium.
Yes, take care of the football. Don't make any dumb mistakes. Be physical. And listen, if they want to load the box, don't be afraid to take a shot.
They'll go right back to the run. Creating some space, getting just enough good blocking, and they've got it up to the 47-yard line. Timeout called there by the defense, desperate to get the ball back and save as much time as possible. The offense showing motion from the tight end, trying to get a read on the D. Give to the single back. They tried to go smash mouth on 3rd and short, and it did not work against this defense. Defense uses a timeout quickly, trying to get that ball back and preserve time for their offense. They already have a comfortable lead, up by multiple possessions, but they're going to go for it here on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. It's incomplete, and they desperately needed to keep that drive going, and they couldn't make the connection.
Well, they're unable to come up with that one on fourth down. And I remember this as a player. You practice specific plays on fourth down for those types of situations. And you know all week against the scout team, they've gotten really clean looks, easy to execute against. They didn't get a clean look that time. So you chalk it up to the defense and take note of it next time. You might not run that play.
And they got him for the sack. The hurry up now, second down, clock ticking. To the air, it's Milroe. He's taking a deep shot. Pass is incomplete, and we dwindle down to 7 seconds.
And the defense is playing with a sense of urgency right now. Obviously, they're playing with the lead. They know this offense needs to find a way to generate points, expecting a shot on that last play, so nice job in coverage.
On third and long, he'll need to loosen up that arm. And they couldn't hold off the heat, and he goes down with the sack. Well, this was an offensive showcase out there today. We thought it would be a high-scoring game, and it certainly delivered.
If you love offense, then you love this type of game. Both offenses going up and down the field, seemingly at will. Throwing the ball, running the ball. But, David, I feel like if you're a fan of defense, maybe this wasn't your cup of tea.
More defense optional. You didn't really get too much of that stuff, but, listen, you got to get a few stops late in the game. You got to get one stop with this many points that was being scored. You got the stop late. That's why you got the dub.
That's going to do it for us. For Jesse Palmer, David Pollack, our entire broadcast team, I'm Reese Davis. This has been another presentation of EA Sports College Football.